Good evening, everybody. I hope my voice is audible. So we'll get started with the class. We'll get started with the class. So this week we'll be looking at some structures. So for those of you who are joining into my session for the first time, the format of my sessions is as follows. I'll discuss. I have three or four questions related to this week's topic, and I will ask you guys, I will give you guys around 20 to 25 minutes to solve these questions. And after each question, I will discuss the solution to that particular problem. If you guys have any doubts, you can ask me in the chat box. So I'll be disabling the mic. Uh, I'll be disabling the mic for you guys because uh, that's the format that I've been following until now. Uh, whatever questions you have, please ask me in the chat box only. Okay, so let's get started. So we'll be looking at structures, questions related to structures this week. So this is the first question. Write a program in C to do the following. Create a structure called employee that can store the first name, last name, and the employee ID of an employee. Create an array of type struct employees of size 3 and take an input from the user to fill the data in the array. Uh, Print out the data and onto the console. So here you can see that I've created a structure. This is the output. So this is what is printed to the console. Please enter employee one's first name, and then I enter the first name. Then uh, I enter the last name, and then I enter the employee ID. And once this is entered, uh, since this array is of size 3, I enter this information three times for three different employees. So can somebody tell me what is the difference, major difference between a structure and an array? Could anybody tell me? In the chat box, you can write down the answer. Yeah, so I'm waiting. I'll give you guys a few seconds. Kindly write down your answers in the chat box. What is the difference between a structure and an array? So if you have watched this week's videos, you'll be able to answer this. Okay, Sarut has responded. Array same data type, structure different data type. Yeah, you're right, Sarut. So we can have in an array we can all the elements of the array are of the same data type, whereas for a structure uh, we can have different data types in the structure. For example, we can have an array within the structure itself. We can have different types within it. For example, int, character, variables of different types. Uh, so we can use this template of the structure, and we can create more. So this is like a user defined data type, and we can create different kinds of we can create our own custom data types based on existing data types that C gives us, and we can use this to our advantage. For example, here I'm asking you guys to create uh, a new data type, and in this new data type using structures, and in this new data type you can, the template is that you need to have three fields. So any variable within a structure is called a field. So you're going to have three fields. The first field will store name, first name of the employee. The second field will store the second name of the employee, and the third field will store the ID of the employee. So can any of you tell me what are the types of these three fields? What is the possible type of these three fields? Yeah, Ajit has also responded. Yeah, the various elements in a structure are of different sizes each. The array contains various elements of the same size. Yes, that is also a correct point. Yeah, good, Ajit. So, in this particular question, can somebody tell me what are the types of the three fields within the structure? So, what can be the type? What can be the data type which will store the ID? Yeah, int exactly, Sahil. Good. So, what will be the data type which will store these, the first name and the last name? Yeah, character or string. Yeah, exactly. So you can basically what you guys can do is you can have two character arrays. Okay, you can have two character arrays, and you can use that. So you can have three fields. One field will be a character array. The second field will also be a character array, and both these character arrays will store the first and last name respectively. And then you will have a field of type int. Okay, so you can go ahead and try and solve this question. After you create the struct, you create an array of size 3, and the type of the array should be uh, of type struct employees. Okay, actually this should be employee because we are creating a structure called employee, right? So I'll give you guys around 20 minutes to solve this. So you can take 20 minutes time, and then we'll discuss this. Okay, somebody has posted the solution. Okay, Sahil has posted the solution. So it's created a struct employee with three fields. One has an int and two character for South people. Okay, maximum length. Good, good. Yes. Then enter name. Yeah, Sahil. I put max length inside the array. It showed error else work as intended. Okay. Yeah, I think that is because you can change that max length. I think that is why it is not allowing that. It's a variable, and if you modify it, but actually it should not cause a problem. But yeah, your logic is correct. So Sahil has posted the solution. Sahil Gautam. What about the others? Were you able to solve it or partially solve it? Did any of you partially solve it? Okay, Aman has partially solved it. Good. Aman is raising his hand. Okay. Sagar has left the meeting. Okay. Okay, we will continue. So I'll discuss my solution. So it is approximately similar to Sahil's. Let me just open it. So it's a pretty simple problem. Okay, Omrania has also solved it partially, I think. Yeah, I hope my screen is visible. So here I'm essentially creating a structure called employee, and within that structure I'm having three variables. One is a character array. The second is also character array called last name, and then I have int employee ID to store the employee ID of the uh, this thing of the employee. Now in this main function, I'm creating an array called of type struct employee, and it has size 3. Then I'm iterating through this. I'm creating a loop for int I is equal to 0, I is less than 3, I plus plus. Printf, please enter employee ID. So I'm a, employee one's first name. Okay. So using I am able to I plus 1. So since the index starts from 0, I want to say employee 1. So 0 plus 1. So employee one's first name. Then I'm doing scanf, and I'm basically uh, inputting a string, right? And similarly for the next last name and employee ID. And then I'm printing it out. on onto the this thing screen, onto the console, uh, again using a for loop. So uh, so the concept here is there's no new concept here other than how to input and how to use a for loop. The only new thing is you need to know how to create a struct, how to create a struct array. That's the only new thing here. So one second. Yeah. So do you guys have any question? If you have any question related to particular this particular question, you can ask me. If you want me to explain any particular part of this, you can ask me. So can somebody tell me when I'm printing here, for example, I'm printing two arrays, two character arrays, but I've given this thing percentage s here, right? So, how does this particular function automatically know where to stop? Because my array is of size 25, but I might not utilize all the 25 locations in the character array. So, how does this know where to stop printing? Sahil is backslash n or space. Okay. What about the others? Okay. But let us say that I don't have that. I don't have backslash n. Of course, here we are having that. So, okay, so this is, let me move on. This is, most of you guys know this from before. So, let me go on to the, yeah, that's the answer I was looking for. At the end of each string or array, backslash 0. So, this is the null character, right? Okay, yes. So, yeah, for Sahil name for stdin, backslash n. And for, yeah, perhaps that might be the case. I'm also not aware of that. But as per my knowledge, for this particular library, it automatically stores a backslash 0 or a null character. And whenever it encounters a null character while printing, it will stop iterating through the character array. Sahil is telling if it reads backslash n and space from the standard input stream and places. Okay, okay. Yeah, so Sahil is giving the solution. Sahil is giving the explanation, a more deeper explanation. So actually, even I was not aware of this. I knew that it automatically puts a backslash 0, but how it does it, I was not aware of it. So Sahil is giving the explanation that it reads backslash n and space from the standard input stream and places the character backslash 0 at the end. Okay, yeah. So thanks for the info, Sahil. So even I am getting to learn new things from you guys. Uh, so let us go. Let us go on to the next problem. So I was thinking of discussing the next problem, but let me skip to the third one, and then we'll come back to the second one. Okay. So write a program in C to do the following: create a structure point having three float variables that determine the location of a point in 3D space. Okay, create a function that accepts two pointers to variables of type struct point as parameters. Calculate, and this particular function calculates the Euclidean distance between the 2 points and returns the result. Print the returned result onto the console. So can somebody tell me how to approach this problem? So essentially you just need to create two structures having three float variables. That is straightforward. Then you have to create a function that accepts two pointers to these variables. Okay, it accepts two pointers to these variables, to these variables of type struct point. Okay, and then using this you have to calculate the Euclidean distance. Okay, so this is a point in 3D space, so that is why it has three float variables. So you guys can start solving this, uh, and if you have any clarifications regarding this particular question, you can ask me. So you'll have to use one library in this. Can somebody tell me what is that library? So you can maybe, yeah, Sahil is telling the answer. Yeah, exactly. Maths.h, because you'll have to find the square root. Exactly. Yeah, Aman is also agreeing. Good. So maybe you can take uh, 10 to 12 minutes to solve this, and then we'll discuss. So uh, this is a more straightforward question, slightly easier, but uh, it's still good to practice different kinds of questions. Yeah, Pawan, did you have any question? Yeah, it's being recorded. Don't worry, Pawan. I'm recording it using this OBS software, and I'll be uploading this uh, recording. Which solution, Anamika? This particular question, huh? So this question, once you guys first try and solve it, and then at 6:58 take 10 minutes to solve it, and then we will discuss the solution at 10:58. Try and solve it, and then we'll discuss it. Good. Yeah, yeah, Pawan, I'm recording it. Don't worry. The current video that this particular for all sessions, I am recording the videos. Yeah, yeah, and I upload it also. It's available on the course page. So here you'll have to basically, if you know the concept of pointers, you'll be able to understand how to solve this. So let me just clarify this. The function accepts two pointers, and these pointers point to variables of type struct point. Okay, I hope that uh, this wording is slightly confusing. So the parameters are two of this particular function is two pointers, and the type of these pointers is struct point. One is asking, can we score good marks by practicing all the NPTEL assignment questions in the upcoming exam? So, Pawan, actually, I'm not involved with that part of the course. So, I myself have not looked at the assignments till now, and also I have not. I'm not involved with setting of the question paper. But my understanding of how things work is that if you solve all the assignment questions, then you have a good basic understanding of the that week's content. At least this is how most of the NPTEL courses are. So if you are able to solve the assignment questions, then I my hope is that you the it'll your knowledge will be at the sufficient level uh, to solve the this thing uh, to solve the exam, the questions in the exam. uh, I hope that answer helps you somewhat. So Pawan is asking what is the level of questions asked in NPTEL exam. So like I said, Pawan, I'm not sure of uh, I'm not involved with that part of the course. Uh, my my association with this course is directly through NPTEL. So I'm not I'm not in contact with the professor of the course. Uh, so I don't know much about the assignments and what do you say? I don't know much about the assignments and the actual questions that might come in the exam. But usually they won't ask many very tough questions. It will be at a reasonable level. That is what I hope. But again, I'm not in a position to actually answer that question. Maybe you can directly put it on the forum or ask on the chat group. I mean, directly mail the professor. Sahil has posted the solution. Let's go through it. So yeah, your solution is correct, Sahil. What is that you have put at the end for distance? Take point one as 000. I didn't get that part. But your code is correct. Your code is correct. Good, good, very good. Very happy to see the enthusiastic involvement. So what is that? The distance for distance take point one as 000. Okay. So, what about the others? Were you able to solve it or partially solve it? Ajit, what about you? Ajit Rao. I have Aman Goel said I have done good. Good, Aman. Okay, Ajit said no. Okay. Okay, so let's discuss the solution. It's basically what uh, Sahil has posted, similar to that. So let's just share the screen. Okay, this is I open. So here I have created a struct point. One second. Yeah, but yeah. So here I'm using a double. Uh, you can use because I also want to store not just whole numbers, right? The a 3D point can be anywhere. It need not be just at whole numbers. For example, 1 comma 0 comma 1. It can be 1.5 comma 1.67 comma minus 8.93. So I'm using a double here, and then what I'm doing is I'm defining a function called float distance, and this particular function takes in two parameters, which are actually, and these two parameters are actually pointers uh, to uh, they are pointers of type struct point. Okay, and then I have my int main. In the int main, I define two structures. I assign the values to these structures. So I have point A, point B, and I give values to this, and then I print the solution. I call this function. I pass in the uh, I pass in the address. So we need to pass in the address of this. So I pass in the address, and then this particular function is called here. So what happens is the address is stored in this pointer. Address of the structure A and structure B is stored in this pointer. Now I can access Now I can access the variables, the content within this particular structure, within these two structures, point A and point B, using the pointer, right? So to access the field X in the structure pointed to by pointer A, PTR I use this particular notation, and then I subtract it. So I don't know whether you guys know the formula for this. Let me just go here and one second. Start inking. So distance between points. Let's say we have point A, x1 comma. My handwriting is pretty bad. Let me write it again. Point A, x x1 comma y1 comma z1, and I have another point B, which is x2 comma y2 comma z2. So the distance between A and B, distance between A and B is equal to square root of x2 minus x1 the whole square plus y2 minus y1 the whole square plus z2 minus z1 the whole square. Okay, so this is the formula and I'm trying to implement this formula. So I'm passing in these pointers. I'm passing in the address of these two structures to these two pointers here in this particular function. Then I'm using these pointers to access the data within these 2 points. Okay, and I'm using this. So can somebody tell me uh, what is PTRA? What is this notation? Let me just. PTRA X. What exactly is this? And what is the alternate way to write this? What is the alternate way to write this? PTRA. So this basically tells I'm accessing the field in X. Sorry, the field in the structure pointed to by PTRA, right? Using this. So can somebody tell me what is the alternate way of writing this? This is a simplified notation for our convenience. Sir had explained this. What is the other way to write this? Yeah, I'll wait. I'm waiting for a response. Okay, nobody has responded yet. So I'll go ahead and explain it. So essentially, how do we access pointers? First, we have to yeah, exactly, Sahil. That's the solution. So I'll tell you what is the thing. So if we have a pointer and a pointer is pointing to a particular variable, so the pointer itself has the only the address, right? So how do I access the content pointed to by the pointer? I dereference it. How do I dereference it? Using the star pointer, right? The star operator. So star ptra essentially gives me the content pointed to by this pointer, right? Now once I get access to the content, I do dot using the dot operator like Aman said. I access the uh, I access the field uh, within this particular structure. Okay. So since we use this very often, C has made it easy for us instead of using this, and we need to put a brackets here because the precedence of uh, dot is greater than star, but we don't want that to happen. That is why we put this brackets. First, we want to get a access to the variable pointed to by this pointer. Then we need to access it using the dot operator. So that is what we are doing here, and this basically can be written like this. So C has made it easy for us because we use this very often. So yeah, many of you are right. So here what I'm doing is I'm getting access to that to this 4. It's 4 minus of minus 7, and then I'm squaring it. I'm just multiplying it, and then I'm adding again. I'm basically implementing this formula, this particular formula, and I'm doing square root of this entire. I'm doing square root of this part. This particular part, I'm doing square root of that. So to do the square root, I need to use this sqrt function, right? And sqrt function is available in the maths.h in the math library. Hence, I've included maths.h. Okay. So yeah, this is the basic explanation of this. If anybody has a doubt regarding this, you can post it in the chat box. Kindly let me know. I'll give you guys a couple of seconds, a few seconds. If you have any doubts, if you want me to explain anything, uh, I can explain it again. So do let me know. I'll wait for a few seconds. If there are no questions, okay. Ajit is saying zoom it. Okay. Yeah, Ajit. I hope it's visible now. Okay. Anamika is saying explain again. Yeah. Okay. I'll explain it again, Anamika. Let me just drink some water. Okay. So let's get started. So essentially the question is I need to find the distance between 2 points. Okay, so the first part of the question is I need to define a struct. This is a user defined data type, and I'm defining a structure called struct point. And in this particular structure I have three fields, okay, of type double, x, y, and z. So these three fields store the x, y, and z coordinates of the point. So in a 3D space, the location of any particular object or any point can be defined by three coordinates, x, y, and z, right? So that is what I'm doing here. I'm in the point is being the point will have three coordinates, x, y, and z, and I'm creating 2 points now in the main function. Then I'm defining a function called distance, and this particular function takes in two pointers as its parameters, and the type of these pointers is struct point. Okay, now what I'm doing is I'm creating these two points, and I'm giving values to them, and then I'm calling this function. And since this is a pointer, I'm passing in the address of point A and point B to this particular pointer. Okay, so I'm calling the function here, and then now that I have the address uh, of point A and point B in this particular pointer, the way to access it is access the field uh, in this particular variable is like this. Okay, ptr and then this arrow and x. So I get access to 4. So then, now that I have access to these 2 points, I'm implementing it using this particular formula. Okay. Yeah. So Sahil is also giving some additional explanation. He's telling int star p. Here p is a pointer to an integer. Correct. Now star p tells the compiler go to the address pointed by p. Correct. There star p is the integer. Similarly, struct point star p is a pointer to a struct. Star p is the struct itself. Star p dot x is the x field of that struct. Okay, so Sahil is also in with the explanation, so you guys can also go through it. So I'm glad that you guys are actively involved in this class. So yeah, that is correct, Sahil. Your explanation is also correct. So let's move on to the next uh, part of the more like objects. Exactly. Yeah, correct. Aman, we can. This is analogous to to objects. Correct. Okay. So let's go on to the next question. So write a program in C. So this is more of a understanding based question. Write a program in C to calculate the size allocated to a variable of type struct employee using only pointers. Note down an observation and give explanation for the same. So now we had solved this particular question, right? So this is actually the second question. This is a continuation of the. So this particular question should be is a continuation of this question. So here, write a program to in C to calculate the size allocated to a variable of type struct employee using only pointers. Okay, so you should not use the size of operator. You should use only pointers. Note down your observations and give explanation for the same. Okay, so uh, if you recall, in this particular this thing we had a structure of type called employee, and in that we had two character arrays and one integer variable. So you can define the size of the character array as 25 or 50 based on how you had solved this. So I had defined it as 50, so you can do that. You can I had defined it as 25. So I had two struct variables. Sorry, I had one in the structure employees. I had three fields. The first field was to store the first name, and it was a character array of size 25. The second field was store the last name, and it was again a character array of size 25. And the third one was again an integer variable to store the employee ID. So I want you guys to create a program to get the uh, size of this particular structure using only pointers. Okay, so yeah, you can take your time. Let me give you guys 15 minutes to solve this. So this will be the last question for the day, but let's take time to solve this. Okay, guys. So, have any of you been able to solve it or get? Do you have any idea of how to approach this problem? Can you let me know if you were able to at least attempt it? Okay. Okay, Sahil attempted it, but I tried size off, but all the time it printed 0.00. Okay. What about the others? Okay. Okay, so let's discuss this. I'll discuss this particular solution with you. Okay. Let me open the solution first. So my approach to this problem is as follows. What I'm basically doing is I'm creating a pointer that is of type uh, struct employee, and then uh, you know how pointers work, right? If I add one to pointer based on the type uh, based on the type of based on how pointer arithmetic works, arithmetic works based on the type of the pointer. So if I do plus one, the address in the pointer will point to the next integer location. So if, for example, the current address of the pointer is 4, or let's say 5, and now if I add plus 1 to it, since it's an integer pointer, it'll the current address will be 5 plus 4 9. Okay. Because it uh, an integer has a size of 4 bytes, right? So to point to the next integer location, when I do plus 1, it has to point to the next integer location. So it increments its address by 4. Similarly, in this particular case, I know that my struct employee, what will be its size? Its size will be, let's say it has one character occupies 25, right? One byte. One character occupies one byte. So 25 characters, if will employ 25 bytes. Similarly, here the size of the character array is 25. So it can store 25 characters. So again, this will employ 25 bytes. Similarly, int employee ID, an integer value employs has a size of 4 bytes. So totally I should have 50 plus 4, 54. So the size of the struct should be 54. So I'll show you guys what I'm doing. So I'm creating a struct employee E1. Then I'm creating a pointer of type struct employee. Then what I'm doing is struct pointer is equal to the address of, so I'm storing the address of E1 in this particular pointer. Then I'm directly printing the address onto the console of this particular pointer. Then I'm incrementing this by 1 and I'm printing the address again. So actually now I can store two addresses in two variables and I can just subtract it to get the size of this. So let me first run this particular code. So here you can see it's 64 and 220, right? 164 and 220. So what is the difference? 64, 74, 84, 94. Okay. So that's 94 plus 6 is 36 plus 20. So this is 56. Okay. But according to our calculations, it should have only 50, right? Sorry, 54. 25 plus 25 plus 4, right? That according to our calculation, this should have 54. So Are you guys able to understand what I have done until now? Only then I'll go on to the next part. So here, as per pointer arithmetic, to point to the next uh, variable of type struct, it will actually, if I do +1, it will increment the number of bytes. It will increment by the size of this particular struct, right? So that is the logic here. So for example, let me just, if I have an array, if I have an array, an integer array of size 4, right? So this is the index 0, this is index 1, this is index 2, and this is index 3. And this is an integer array, int arr of 4. Okay. So let us say the address of this is 0. Okay. Then the address of this, because this occupies 4 bytes, the address of this will be 4. It will start from 4, right? So 0 to 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, right? So this is how the memory is allocated to this integer array. Now if I have a pointer that is pointing, so we know that ARR is actually a pointer which is pointing to the first uh, location of this, the first element of this array. So ARR will have an address of 0 actually. Now if I do ARR plus 1, what will it be? It will have a value of 4, right? If I do ARR plus 2, it will have a value of 8, because this is a pointer of type int. Similarly, if I have a pointer of type employee, if I do +1, it will increment by the size of that particular uh, variable, right? And the variable is of type employee. So I hope you guys understand the logic that I'm using here. Now just look at this. So this should occupy 25, right? 25 bytes. This array should occupy 25 bytes. So total 50 bytes. And we know integer occupies a size of 4 bytes, right? So then I should have, this should occupy 54 bytes of space. But let me run this code again and check what is happening. So 76, and if I do +1, it's 332. So and if I subtract this, what I'm getting is actually 56. If you do 332 minus 276, okay, 332 minus 276. Okay, what is the answer? 6, again 56, right? So this actually takes us, instead of being 54, it takes 56. So does anybody know the reason for this? Why it is taking occupying 56 bytes instead of 54? Does anybody know? You can take a guess. Alignment. Akansha Gupta. Yeah, that's correct, Akansha. You're right. Wow. I was not expecting somebody to come up with the answer, but yeah, you're right. It's not a straightforward question. Yeah, I'll explain it, Sahil. What about the others? Okay, so let me just explain it. So I'll just go to this. So memory allocation for a structure. If we, so this is, I've gotten it from this source. Let me just read it out. If we create an object of some structure, then the compiler allocates contiguous memory for that data members of the structure, for the data members of the structure. The size of allocated memory is at the least the sum of the sizes of all the data members. So the least is, in our case, it should be 54, right? So why is it least? Why how can it be more? So that's the explanation here. The compiler can use padding, and in that case there will be unused space created between two data members. Okay. This padding is done for the alignment of data members, which makes the access to the members faster. So, I mean, this depends on the compiler. The compiler accesses the data in a particular way, so it does certain padding. Okay, it does some padding which enables the compiler to access these particular elements faster. Okay, why it needs to do that padding to make it faster, I actually don't know, but I know that it does this padding to align the data, and if that happens it can access that particular data faster. So yeah, that is why this compiler does it. So you can control the padding behavior and can stop the compiler to generate extra spaces. The data members of a structure are accessed with the help of the base address of the structure and the offset of the data member in the structure object. Okay, so I'll be sharing the slides. You can actually go to this particular link. So let me give you an explanation, further explanation. So this, let us say there's a structure called struct student, and in that there is an integer. There are two integers, there are two character variables, and there's a float. Okay, so integer takes 4 bytes, so that's 4 plus 4 8. Then character takes 1 byte each, so that is plus 1, so 8 plus 2 is equal to 10. And then float again takes 4. Okay, so there should be 14, but this here is taking 16. So you can see how the memory is allocated here. So here you can see, first the integer takes 4 bytes, then again 4 bytes, then 1 byte, and then there is a padding here, and then of 2, and then there is again 4, there is 4 bytes. Okay, so the reason it is doing this padding according to online sources is that it will be able to access the data uh, quicker. It does this padding to, it is like a kind of an optimization that the compiler does to be able to access this variables faster. So this is happening in the background. That is why this instead of, in our case, instead of 54 we got 56. Okay, so yeah, that's about it. So you can go to these sources and maybe read up more about it. So for that's it for this class, this particular class. If you guys have any further doubts related to this particular question, you can stay back and ask me. So yeah, if you have any particular question, you can ask me. Otherwise, we'll wind up the session for today. So we are ending a bit early, but that's okay. That's not a problem. The content also is a bit less this week. So thank you very much, guys. Size of, I have not actually tried it. Maybe Sahil was telling it didn't work for some reason. I'm not sure why it didn't work, but we can actually try it now. Let's see. Let's actually give it a try. Print f percentage d, comma, size of e1. Let's see what happens. Okay, for for me it is working. Maybe there might be some error. Uh, you can try and do it again, Sahil. Maybe there might have been some problem. But yeah, for me it is working. Are you trying? Are you? I hope you're not trying to find the size of the this thing, structure pointer. But again, it should not give 0 in that also. Let me, the struct pointer. Let's see what is the size of the struct pointer. It will be interesting. 4, yeah, because it's essentially an address. Yeah. So what about the others? If you don't have any further doubts, we will wind up. So this is the second last live session, right? Uh, so where are you guys from? Maybe you can just type, give a brief intro about yourselves, since we have some time to kill. Which colleges are you guys from? What is your background? You can just type it in the chat box if you are interested. Okay, Sahil is posting his thing. Struct int A int B, character pointer. Okay, node X. Okay, we're creating a node. Okay, this is like a linked list. What is the pattern of the exam? Like I said, Srinidhi, I'm not aware of the pattern because I'm not involved with that part of the course. I'm not directly in contact with the professor. I'm taking these live sessions in understanding with the NPTEL studio directly. Yeah, someone is saying it is mailed. Sahil, can you change that to percentage D? Can you try? Can you change it to percentage D? But actually, it should not cause a problem. But just try percentage D and check while printing, because I think it returns an integer variable. Yeah, did it work, Sahil? Okay, okay, good, good. Sahil is saying it worked. Okay, guys, I'll wind up for today. So see you guys next week. It was great interacting with you. Let's meet next week. Goodbye. Bye.